Yeah, hi there. These comments are for 0862, and this is Michael. I am the founder, owner, and the materials writer for all of the lessons at the 7-step system to pass the TOEFL IBT, and I'm also your English 106 instructor at California State University, San Bernardino. And during this particular video, I want to go over your particular essay. So you did the multi-draft writing project 1. This is for spring quarter 2013, and I want to go over the different parts of the writing assignment and try to give you some meaningful feedback so you can kind of get an idea of what your grade is and why. Okay, first of all, part 1, you get a 0 out of 100. You did not address the rhetorical nature of book reviews, so that's not good news for you. Part 3, you did not do that either. So you did not turn in a condensed version of your book review. Now let's talk about the second part of the writing assignment. This is the actual book review itself. Now you got a lot of good thinking going on here in this second part of the writing assignment, I'll be honest with you. You really do. Now the only thing is you need some way to connect everything together. If I look at your first paragraph, right? And it says, at the very end of your first paragraph where you want to get your thesis, you have Gail Eisnitz, a journalist who has had this book featured on many credible news agencies, and then you list what they were. But you don't really say what your opinion is of the book. Now, in the very end of the essay, I think it's effective. You say this. You say, based on the evidence I have provided against the accounts given in the book, I strongly disagree with the author's opinion on slaughterhouse conditions. This is good. Now, is it possible to take your conclusion and then bring that into your introduction also as a thesis statement? So that way you have what's called circular framing. You'll have your thesis in the first paragraph that announces, how you're having problems with some of the arguments being made in the book, and then you discuss each of those arguments, in the body paragraphs and why you don't like them. So that's what you're looking for here. 0862, you need to more coherently connect everything together. So that would be very, very important. Paragraph 2, your topic sentence is, the book goes into so much detail to how the animal is killed and how it suffers. Now, if you want to make this more of a arguable topic sentence, you might say the book goes into too much unnecessary detail about how an animal is killed and how it suffers. You see what I'm saying? And that way we know that this is not just a statement, but this is an argument that you're making. And then you give some examples of how that's used. Now, what you also didn't do here, which you definitely need to do is, as you explain information from the book, you need to use in-text citations. This is all part of joining the academic community of writing, is you need to be able to identify and show where this information is coming from. If you know how to do it, it's easy. Go on the internet, Google, type in the word sample MLA research paper. And once you find that, find a paper and then look at the paper particularly. Even when the writer is not quoting, you'll still see those in-text citations in there. So we know what page numbers, the summaries and the paraphrases are coming from, and we also know who is saying that information. So what you're missing here are those page numbers, those in-text citing the page numbers. Paragraph 3. You say the book is based off the testimony of workers that the author had interviewed, and all have a very gruesome story to tell, none of whom speak about the good side of the slaughterhouse. Now what you have to do here is kind of recast that. If you want to make it a topic sentence, say, another aspect of the argument is that the writer fails to present a balanced view. So the writer hasn't presented a balanced view with the argument, therefore you think it is showing bias. Right? So you need to do a little bit more of structuring that paragraph and showing that. Now if you say none of them speak about the good side, and then the testimony is all talking about gruesome things, what you can do here is refer to different chapters. You can say, for example, in chapter 2 and chapter 5 and chapter 7, in chapter 9 and chapter 10 and so on, they all present the gruesome side of slaughterhouses, and then you say not a single chapter throughout the book deals with the positive aspects of it. So what you're trying to argue here is that the book has a unbalanced presentation in the argument, therefore making it biased, thereby weakening the argument in your opinion, right? Paragraph 4, you say the animals are not the only ones who get harmed in this book, though. The people also get harmed from poor conditions. But there's no argument here. Again, what you're doing is you're evaluating the book by making claims. Here's what you like or dislike about the book, and then you back up that with evidence from the book. So your topic sentence, I think, in paragraph 4 and paragraph 3, and really paragraph 2, it's not arguable. It really isn't. Now, if you're not sure what I'm talking about there, go to the internet, go to a writer's reference by Diana Hacker's 6th edition. Write this down. And go to her website, right? And click on the writing exercises, and then do some practice with topic sentences. And I think you'll kind of understand what I'm talking about. You're creating factual topic sentences, which doesn't do well to give your essay an argumentative tone. So if you want to go beyond the informative type writing genre, you want to get more into the argumentative writing genre, the best way to do that is to frame your topic sentences so they're making arguments. Then you back up those arguments with evidence from the book to help support your analysis and your argument. Okay, paragraph 5, you have, from all the people she has asked for information about what goes on inside, who can be really credible? What you can do here, instead of trying to make a question, is say another aspect of the book that weakens its argument is the writer's credibility. Write that down. That's a good topic sentence that you could use here. Then you back up what you're trying to say in that particular paragraph. Paragraph 6, you say, in the cattle pens there are security cameras that are set up so the company can monitor how the cattle are treated when they see someone harm a cow on the way, such as hit, cut, hose the face, or use a cattle prong when not needed. But again, you're just making a statement here. You're not really creating an argumentative tone. So you're more interested, what I'm getting from this, you're more interested in defending the slaughterhouse, which is fine. You're explaining why you don't think a slaughterhouse is as bad as what the writer is saying. But to me, that's kind of the wrong genre. You want to explain why you dislike or like this book, not just why slaughterhouses aren't as bad as what she's saying in the book. So you got to focus more on reviewing the contents of the book as you read those and talk about those. So paragraph 7 is kind of the same thing. You say when the cattle are to be killed, they use a knocker which knocks the cattle out, rendering them useless and asleep. Again, there's just a fact. You're not really explaining why you dislike or like the book. So, paragraph 8 is very strong, but unfortunately for you, too little, too late. You do say, I provided against the accounts given. I strongly disagree with the author's opinion. So all in all, what do we have here? Based on my analysis of your project, of course, you did not do part 1, you didn't do part 3. I think with part 2, the review itself, you need to reorganize it so it's framed more as an evaluation, and you really have to be very, very careful how you structure those topic sentences so that you're doing more evaluating and you're not doing as much as informing and explaining things. So you need more of an argumentative edge to the writing, which you don't have. And the best way to do that is by creating a sharply focused thesis which makes a judgment about the book based on reasons A, B, and C. And then you can refer back to each of those reasons in those body paragraphs, making arguments each time and then defending and backing up those with evidence from the book itself. So what do we got? I think you got trouble here. You're going to score pretty low on this. You get a 60 out of, I think, 100 on this, which is obviously a no pass. So you didn't do part 1, you didn't do part 3. That alone right there is killing your score. Now, with the second part of the writing assignment, I did give you some comments on how you could better restructure that. All right? Anyway, you got 2 choices. A, do nothing. Keep the grade you have. B, if you think you can make it better, let's go for it. Using some of my comments, you have 7 days to rewrite this paper based on the comments I've given you right now. And when you turn in that rewrite, you want to make sure you turn in the original draft along with my comments, and then you want to include a letter explaining what changes you made in your second version of this essay and why. So obviously you have to address that you've now included part 1 because you didn't do that. You also need to address that you're turning in part 3, which you also neglected to address. And then you even have to explain what changes you made in the second part of the writing assignment, which will better address the genre of book reviews. All right? Anyway, thank you very much, and I look forward to reading your next project.